What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm coming to you from down here in what used to be the studio's dark room. It was turned into more of a shop even before I bought the studio. The old owner had built this out to be a really cool dark room. I'll show you around a little bit too. But when I started helping him out with stuff, originally I was assisting him doing photography work, but then I started helping him on fixing stuff up. And it was funny because even when we were kind of changing this even more, it still had a lot of the original photography equipment in it. And a lot of times he would end up paying me in the photography equipment, which is kind of funny since I ended up moving here and all that stuff just came back. It just didn't come back down to here. Edmund always follows me down here. Anyways, you could see, so this used to be the black and white side here. There was actually a light table right in there. And then, you know, now you could see it's a saw and everything like that. But there used to be two sinks here. Actually, when I worked for him, the other one was still here. I helped him take it out. It's something I did take to my other house, which is funny. And that house got bought by a friend of a friend, and I know her son actually has the other sink, but here's the, you know, washing prints and all that kind of stuff sink right here. So, but yeah, basically you can see what we've done. We've got the drill press here now, tools and stuff up here, table saw, compound miter saw, you know, grinder, polisher, you know, just all the stuff you need. All these are nails and just other little tools and all that kind of thing. Edmund, are you looking at yourself in the mirror? The sink still obviously comes in handy, but the reason that I am actually down here today is because I really want to start getting rid of stuff, cleaning and organizing. If you watched my other video on the studio, I'm getting that storefront area picked up, and I decided one thing I'm gonna do is have a sale here. That'll be on the Friday, I think that's March 21st on that Friday. It's whatever that Friday is, 4 to 8. But so much stuff has just accumulated here over the years. Some of it from me, some of it from the last photographer, some of it even predates that. You can see that I've got this wood pile. This will stay. I am one of those guys, that's one thing I do. I will hoard my wood. That sounds funny. But as you'll see upstairs, as I started to clean everything up and I started to build stuff out, one of the things is I just did it out of all like scrap pieces I had. Like that front counter had been driving me crazy for years, or not years, the couple years that I've had that set up, and I just had that piece of corrugated metal sitting there. One of the things I always really wanted to do was build out the front of that somehow. So I took a piece of glass up there and I'm thinking, oh, this glass, maybe I could build it in here and make this like a curio type thing. But then what I realized is desk I made is just 2 kitchen cabinets with an old countertop sitting across it. I realized, well, I could just like inlay the back a little bit and turn this into more shelves for more cool camera stuff. Because I also do want to get all my cameras towards that area. So when I have like a sale or an event, the stuff that I don't really just want out and about where, you know, people are browsing could be more close to me and it'd be more obvious that it's not for sale. You know, doing things cheap and stuff like that, one of the reasons I wanted to keep doing everything with that build out cheap is because I'm not sure what's going to end up happening there. You know, right now I'm going to do maybe a couple of events and a little sale, but it's also kind of advertising for if someone does want to end up leasing that space. So I don't want to, you know, go investing a ton of money in there. So building something with 2x4s and some paint is good enough. I don't want to do a bunch of, you know, I could have leveled everything and sanded and caulked and all that kind of stuff, but that would just not be worth it in case it all ends up coming back out. That's one thing I always have really done in the studio too, is build everything in a way that is very modular. The 2 sides of the studio, the 2 long storefronts that are connected in between are basically shelves, and you can do whatever you want with them. And I've moved stuff around numerous times. So everything is built, like I said, with screws, so it can be taken apart and moved. I moved kind of like my private space from one side to the other. I've actually even moved that storefront setup from one side to the other. So keeping everything simple to take apart and move around is one of the things that I've always done here. This area I wandered in back here is like kind of for old tools and paint and caulk and all this kind of stuff. Most of this stuff is staying here. This is kind of like just another storage part of the shop that I actually use for a function at this point. It's just more a lot of the stuff that, and even in the room, there's that door behind us that is accumulated. I just want to go through here and see what can be sold. This is a little wall we built that's mobile, and it's just a place to hang a bunch of tools as well. But there's all kinds of stuff in all of these boxes, and it would just be nice to clean it. You can see there's been a little water damage up there on the wall, so also another thing of pulling this stuff all out and going through would be getting back to that wall, seeing what the issue is, maybe getting it repainted so I could tell if I'm still getting any kind of water damage, something I do a lot. Around here, the building's 1920s, this old kind of terracotta, or whatever you call it, clay brick stuff, clay brick, not terracotta, is porous, and some of it's starting to fall apart. I need to get more concrete on the walls. It's always something when your building's this old, but I love the way old stuff looks. So yeah, something I do with this YouTube channel is just update on what's going on with me. They're not popular videos. I make them because I like to make them. But if you do happen to live in the area and you want to come and just nerd out about film cameras, see what the studio looks like, check out my stuff, but also check out my little sale and see if any of these products that have accumulated over the years are, there is some vintage film stuff for sale. I want to be clear that I am not selling my, RZ67s and, my Canons and all my Minoltas and all the really cool stuff. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea that I'm letting that go yet. There might be a chance down the road that happens, that, say I did end up leasing the space to someone else and I didn't want to hang on to that much kind of vintage camera gear, there'd be a sale. That is not this event though. But I will link the details, the date, and the actual hours below in case I misspoke in this video. But March 21st, 4 to 8 is what I believe. If you are someone who hear from the cycling channel, that weekend there's also going to be 2 cycling events. So we're going to meet at the studio the next day. I haven't decided what time we'll meet, but the ride will be leaving here around 3:30. Just to give you a little update, that's going to be a no-drop ride, like 10 to 15 miles out to get some beer and food, or just food if you don't drink, whatever. But then back, and then the day after that at Dirty River Bicycle Works, there's going to be the Otis Roubaix, which is a big, just kind of a challenge yourself with all the hills in Akron event. So I'll be filming all of those. I'll be taking photos of all those. So, I kind of have these 2 aspects to my content creation, which is bike stuff on the other channel, photography stuff on here. But there's always a little bit of a mix between the 2 because I do them at the same time. So yeah, just a little update on the studio and what I'm up to. I'm kind of proud of what I built up there in the storefront, even though, like I said, I'm keeping it temporary and I'm keeping it cheap. I think once all the cameras are on there, which I'll be doing right after this, I think it's going to look really, really cool. One other thing I wanted to say too, did you guys know that it takes latex paint up to a month to fully cure? Because I didn't, and I found that out, and I'll explain why. I know I already said I was going to end this video, but I did want to talk about this because I think it's interesting. So originally when I built that backdrop, put that wall up there, kind of as the back for the storefront, Dave put the shelves in when I was out of town. So I didn't get stuff up on those shelves till probably a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And when I went to move some of the boxes, they had stuck to the shelves. So when I went to do this new round of painting and I added more shelves to that thing too to like fill it out with more cameras, I was like, I should look this up. That just seems weird. And yeah, so 4 hours between coats of latex paint, but for a complete cure, they say up to a month. And that is wild to me because who is going to paint a shelf and then wait a whole month before they put anything on it, right? So oil-based paints, which are a pain to use and I don't like to mess with, will fully cure in a week. So I guess maybe for shelving, looking at oil-based might be worth it. I don't know. Anyways, but then you have the other thing with oil-based paints, you're supposed to wait 24 hours between coats, so neither one is perfect. But little thing that with all the painting I've done, and I guess you're usually painting walls and stuff like that, so it doesn't matter because you're not really, putting pressure on them. They're always getting air to it or whatever, so they're just curing, and you don't really think about it. But something to consider if you're someone who does a lot of your own work like I do. Anyways, going on long enough. Me and Edmund are going to get upstairs and start messing around with the cameras, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.